And welcome back. Our next guest has lived a life of pain, near death experiences, and traumas on many levels. And after going into healthcare systems for treatment, was left still suffering as well as struggling. He's created a series bringing awareness to the experiences, hard realities, and trauma coming from pain and how the pain leads to suicidal tendencies. Joining me now is the founder and president of Scudder Intervention Services Foundation. We've got Brett A. Scudder, I should say. We've had him on the show several times, and glad to have him back. And Brett, good to have you. And this time of year is really a rough time of the year for a lot of people. We see people celebrate the holidays, but the holidays, from another perspective, can be quite painful and traumatic for some others.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Thank you again for the opportunity to be here. I think a lot of times we put so much emphasis on this being a happy time of year for people, where the Christmas, Thanksgiving, all these different holidays are in towards the ends of the year. And what we're forgetting is that there are a lot of people who are struggling, still in pain, suffering from pain, different experiences of pain, and it's not a happy or celebratory time for them. And so they are struggling, sometimes suffering in silence with mental health challenges, life challenges, and we are overlooking those people until they become a statistic of a completed suicide.
So we sit here and we talk about pain management. I know that you got a pain management series, how to manage the pain, and you come from personal experience. Talk about how that pain can be so overwhelming in a person's life.
So I started this series because, yes, we need to look at pain through a different lens. We can talk about trauma, we can talk about domestic violence, violence, community violence, these different things. But we really need to look at pain from an experience, a personal, intimate experience, and what that pain looks like and feels like for the person who's going through it. And so the pain management series, every month, I touch on different topics regarding pain, the experiences of pain for people who are living with pain, experiencing pain, to know how to take care of themselves. Self care is very important, but also seeking help, but also other ways of managing pain through non clinical ways or non pharmaceutical ways. I think a lot of times when we look at pain, a lot of people run to pain management for treatment, but we have to start looking within ourselves as people are experiencing pain as what are the tools we have when there is no help, no support, or the treatments that we're being provided is not helping. And that's what the pain management series looks like. The physical and the psychological impacts of pain, how to take care of yourself while you experiencing that pain, and different types of treatment modalities are available.
I know one of the things we also discuss is suicide because that's a number that continues to rise. We're seeing more and more people actually taking their life, and it runs the gamut. You could have finances, you could be broke, you could have a good career, you could be in entertainment, or you could just be right around the way. Talk to us about why are we finding more and more people taking their lives during this time?
Well, I mean, you touched on some of those things. Finances, the socioeconomic, 85% of the people that we see at the Scudder Intervention Services Foundation and the Suicide Institute who are in pain are people who have pain from an intimate relationship, a broken heart from an intimate relationship. A lot of people are struggling right now financially. A lot of people are struggling with family dynamics that are unhealthy, toxic relationships, both in the workplace and in their personal intimate lives. We have a lot of youth right now who are thinking of and attempting suicide because they're depressed and they're feeling isolated. They've lost connections to people and resources that they used to have. We look at the pandemic, 3 years now, we're still seeing um, remnants of the pandemic that are affecting our lives. So pain comes from a lot of different places in a lot of different ways for people. And so it's not just seeing someone with a broken arm or broken leg or someone who's bleeding and we think that, oh, that wound is hurting. We have to start thinking about pain from a psychological perspective. What is causing this pain and what levels of pain is this person experiencing? Is the pain controlling the person or is the person controlling the pain? And so when we understand the difference between physical and psychological pain, we will realize that a lot of people are in physical pain, but they're still able to think coherently. They're still able to function and be highly efficient. There are a lot of people who are in psychological pain who are disabled physically and psychologically by that pain. And so they're incoherent, they're not thinking rationally, the pain is controlling them, and sometimes that pain can lead to violence against self, self harm, violence against others, and harm against others. We really need to start looking at and understanding what pain is for people because it's different for everyone. And is pain controlling people, or is people controlling their pain?
Yeah. When we talk about this pain, obviously it's an unbearable pain for too many people. Can you give us some insight for a person that may be having a family member, friend, somebody, coworker, who's going through this? What advice do you give somebody who may be connected to somebody but don't know how to get the right resources to them?
Well, the first thing we need to do, Darren, is just listen. I think a lot of times people, and I hear people say it all the time, well, Mr. Scudder, I'm not a clinician. I don't have training to be a clinician, so I can't help this person, my family member, or my loved one. But it's all about being connected. People want to be connected to someone who they can share their pain with. And you don't have to have the answer. You don't have to have an answer or have a solution. What people look for in connectedness is someone that they can share how they're feeling and that person listens, right? So, in listening to that person, giving them an opportunity to express their pain, the reasons why they're in pain, is their pain something they can manage or is the pain overwhelming for them? And so, as you listen to your loved one, your partner, your child, your coworker, whatever, make that connectedness be one of you don't have to have the answers and you don't have to be a clinical person to know that someone is in pain and they really just want to express how they're feeling.
Trying to get the help that you need is really the most important thing, right? I think we try to help people get to that place, but not being able to listen, that's very important too, right? There's so many people who are being, uh, felt like they're not being heard. And
Right.
I think that one of the things that we're talking about today is that this pain is somewhat manageable if you have the right person connected. Can you give a word of advice before we go to people about being that bridge and being that sounding board and how important that could just be in somebody's healing and help?
Yeah, so listen, don't think that because someone is in pain that they're not able to manage that pain. We have to remember that sometimes someone's pain could be over a long period of time that they have been able to keep that pain at bay and not have that pain overwhelm them. So just because a person is now coming forward to share with you that they're in pain or what their experience of pain is, doesn't mean that you're going to take their strength away or take the power that they have. And that's one of the big things that we are misconstruing about pain is that when someone shares their pain or when someone is in pain, we feel that they're helpless, they cannot manage the pain. And so, because we're not listening carefully, we take the power away from them and now we put them in more vulnerable positions by either trying to institutionalize them, trying to forcefully put them into treatment programs. And so, it being that bridge is simply about being connected to someone who listens and allows you to. And then ask permission. Now that you have shared with me this pain that you're going through, would you like me to find some additional help for us so that we can work through this pain together? It's
Yeah.
not saying to the person that you need to go seek help or you need to find help. It's asking, how can we together, now that you've trusted me as someone that you're connected with, how can we together find the help for you that will be meaningful?
Brett, you gave some real insightful tips, and hopefully people will take advantage of listening and some of the other things that we can do to possibly be a difference maker in somebody's life. Thank you so much for taking the time with us today.
Thank you for the opportunity. And just remember, 988 is a new number to call for not just suicide, but if someone is feeling overwhelmed, stressed out, just dealing with a lot of issues, they can call 988. And our local number here in the city, where we provide 24/7 response as well, is 917 651 1889.
All righty. And I want to let you know if you want more information, visit the website at sisfi.org. And then follow them on social media at SISFI. And of course, we encourage you to don't go anywhere. We got more open coming up right after this.